So, so this is Sumitra, and I'm going to be your host for the today's session. I welcome you all to the ProTech session of MOHS10. And in this session, we are going to speak about the future of test automation and achieving continuous testing using a Selenium-based hybrid framework. So I'm excited to introduce our speakers. So our first speaker is Mr. Trai Rath, who is the founder and CEO of MOHS10 Technologies and Test Automation Forum. He is also an advisor to the multiple startups around the world, and he has more than 25 years of experience in QA engineering and automation testing. He is working continuously for the development of QE across the globe and igniting the young minds with his vast experience. And our second speaker of the evening is Grishma Kema, who is working as a QA engineer in MOHS10 Technologies. Grishma is a test automation expert and she is working on Selenium and other third-party tools for the continuous development of CI/CD pipelines. So in this session, Trai is going to share his idea about where the industry is leading in automation standpoint, and Grishma will take through the PAINITE framework, which is the integration of continuous CI/CD pipeline in DevOps. So now it's time for Trai to start the session. So Trai, would you like to start the discussion?
Sumitra, thank you so much for the great intro and providing the background around this session today. So I also wanted to welcome everyone. I can see a good number of participants present on this webinar today. So I wanted to thank you all who were able to make to this session. And as you know, the topic of today's discussion is to talk about the future of the test automation, right? Most of you might be already into testing, maybe irrespective of your career level. You might have some or other kind of visibility around where the industry is heading. We keep seeing a lot of changes in the ecosystem, in the software engineering ecosystem and all that. But still, there is some amount of confusion and things are not clear from where to start from automation, where we can integrate more, where we can find more risks to automate first, how to prioritize automation. Should we automate everything and anything? Or should we target only some areas of the application or products? That is still a question mark for many professionals. So today, I have, I think, 15 to 20 minutes to give you a very high-level view on where the industry is actually aligned to currently. And then Grishma will take you through the Selenium-based framework. We call it PAINITE. It is going to be a commercial platform very soon, but it is currently used by MOHS10 team internally for now. She will take you through the platform, how this platform can get integrated into the DevOps ecosystem to enable continuous testing. So coming back to my topic, before I even start talking about the future of test automation, let me give a picture around where we are today and how the journey is so far in terms of, 1G to 5G, right? We have seen, my generation at least has seen all these generation of mobile technologies, 1G to 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G, right? I used mobile in the year of 1998 when Nokia phones were in the market, and it was a monochrome screen, small screen with some, digits should be visible. There is no concept of picture And today, like, there are so many variations in the picture quality, high definition to, 4K and so on, right? So there are so many things, retina picture quality and so on. But that time, as you can see, Nokia 2146 at the left, which is purely a 1G mobile. I think I used the one that is next to 2146, that is 3210. I had one phone like that. So there you can only see a number or some kind of, characters. So that time, this phone was only developed to make calls in a disconnected manner, wherever you are, as long as your cellular network is there, you can make calls. But see, in last 15, 20 years, what has happened, right? The technology has changed so frequently. And today, from making calls to the photography, the kind of, video calls that we are making, whatnot, ordering food, and almost everything is available on mobile phone, right? So that means technology is going faster than we imagined in 1980 when 1G hit the market. We never thought we'll be having a device that will connect one-on-one over video, one to many, many to many, and so on, right? The way we are talking today. That was available on computer. Even Skype was there. After some time, Skype came actually. But on mobility, that was a dream, still a dream, right? And 5G is now in the market, coming to market, India market by end of 2023. They promised almost all the major cities will be having 5G. And that is going to create millions of jobs, guys. Keep that in mind. A lot of people talk about automation is going to take away jobs and it will make people jobless and all that. But the truth is, it is going to create more jobs for our citizens, our population. So, for example, in a city like Beijing, almost like everyone will have more than a job, more than one job, right? 2 jobs and so on. And that is what happened also in 2022. If you recall, many people actually got that moonlighting and all, because the supply was kind of, lesser than the demand. The demand was more. A lot of startups, all of a sudden, they kind of, came up, and a lot of unicorns started popping up, and all that happened, right? So that was a temporary kind of, spike, I would say. But similar situation happened, and that is going to happen again. 2023 onwards, after 5G comes, you will see a lot of avalanche in the market, and so on. So the point that I wanted to make here is things are very, very dynamic in market. From technology standpoint, you can see the platforms, the hardware, the infrastructure that we have is like, next generation. So it is obvious the applications, the products that would be coming, the expectations would be more in terms of the speed, in terms of accessibility, in terms of the cost, and so on. Right? From testing standpoint, or people who are into quality engineering or into software engineering process, they should understand that technology is really moving faster than we kind of, ever imagined. And currently, industry is so much productized. For everything, there is a product. There is a product, there is a kind of, app to order food. There is multiple apps to transfer funds from one place to another. There's so many wallet applications, hotel room booking, cars, transportation, everything is on mobile, right? And there are so many apps, and each app is a product. So why industry, is going for the, this kind of path? Because everybody needs high speed, right? Everybody needs to go to their work much faster. They want to reduce their time to travel to their home, from home to work. Earlier it was 45 minutes. They want to make it in 15 minutes, right? Can it be 5 minutes? Yes, it can be, right? In places or in cities like Dubai, they started heli taxis where you can kind of, move from one place to another place in few minutes in a busy city like Dubai or maybe Beijing and so on. So the funda here is low cost of the product, high speed, and high quality is actually going to make these products successful. India is the third largest startup place in the world, next to China, I believe. First is US, next to US is China, next to China is India. And around more than 120 unicorns we have, right? And you can see the competition here, right? You cannot compete with an application like Paytm or Swiggy, right? Without having a game-changing, innovative idea on how you want to serve your customers, right? So let's move on. Let's talk about a product as an example, Swiggy. Let's talk about. They started their operations probably in 2012, 2013, maybe in a place in Bangalore. They themselves started distributing, taking order and distributing the food. They tried to do some changes and so on. And their journey is, in front of you. And every now and then they keep on adding so many, restaurants. So many users are also getting registered every day. And they're adding a lot of features, innovative features, right? So what does it tell us? It tells us that in order to stay number one in the market, how much effort that you need to put, right? In terms of lowering the cost, in terms of bringing the speed, going to market very quickly. Let's say something regulatory things happens, right? In India government or the local authority says, you can deliver medicines, Swiggy can deliver medicines. So quickly they have to enable that, right? In their application. Let's say India government allows these type of apps to create some features to help senior citizens, right? Somebody wants to give a kind of right to senior citizen from point A to point B, and Swiggy is in everybody's pocket, and Swiggy is allowed to do that. So they will immediately pull that functionality up for use, right? So in that situation, if you are taking more time to implement those functionalities and allow the users to access those functionalities, I think you will be out of the race. You have to come to market quickly with innovative ideas. That's why Swiggy, Zomato, and similar other applications, other products, you can say, they are competing so hard. So any game-changing innovation can make them out of business, or they can be, put in number 2, number 3, or number 4, or maybe beyond that also, right? So you need to stay innovative. You need to stay cost-effective, high speed. You should enable, and quality. Of course, people should like to use it. Your application should not consume more memory. It should not slow down, things like that. Moving on. So since the demand of this type of application products are so much in the market, everybody wants to use Swiggy now. In a tier 2 city, even tier 3 city also, people are using Swiggy. A few days ago, I was in a remote place. That place also has Swiggy. People who are still delivering from, smaller restaurants also. What you need to do is you need to also have a standardized platform or a process that can help you to quickly develop and release the product in the market. And now DevOps is already in front of you since last 5-6 years. Everybody is kind of on DevOps now. They quickly migrated from the waterfall or V model to DevOps. Continue to enjoy the agile. In order to have products like Swiggy in the market quickly, you need to have also a very dynamic and smart software engineering process also in place, right? And that is what is DevOps that we are talking about. You have planning to coding to developing or building, having deployments, testing to release, and then deploy in different instances, including production, the operations part, monitoring the application, how it is performing in production, and so on. So it is a very well-defined, and also implement some of the industry's best practices like shift left, which encourages people to initiate activities much early in the life cycle than waiting until the end. And shift right is ensuring everything is working fine after code is implemented in production, or the code is in customer's hand, or customer is accessing the code in production, right? So as the product is need to be delivered in the market on a timely manner. Your software development process also has evolved to a point where you can see in the next slide, you have so many tools, platforms that can really help you to bring the adequate speed. For example, you want to do unit testing. The unit testing is available like JUnit or NUnit or fitness or QUnit that you can integrate to your DevOps system so that your system actually becomes very connected, well connected, and it enables that continuous deployment, continuous testing, continuous integration, and all that stuff. You can still enjoy the benefits of that DevOps system, right? So for every task, you can see hundreds of commercial as well as open source platforms are available today in the market. I was talking about productization, right? Few slides before. Everything is productized in the current industry, right? The same thing you can see also in your software engineering ecosystem. For each task, for maintaining your version control, there is a platform. For making a build, there is a platform. Earlier, I don't know how many of you know Microsoft Visual Source. Microsoft Visual Source was a version control tool, but it is no way close to what you have today, like Git and SVN and so on. Very, very powerful, version control platforms, right? So similarly, for everything, for your knowledge sharing, for your communication within the team, collaboration within the team, deploying a build, everything has a product behind it today. And the main purpose of having the product is to bring the standardization and bring the adequate speed and lowering the cost, right? So that everybody doesn't go on creating their own product and get delayed in the process. So visualizing the future of software quality, what is happening? If you look at the journey in last 10, 15 or 20 years, right? We came from waterfall, right? When we started thinking about IT was 1996, 97. And that time, waterfall was there. And from there we started. And after 5, 10 years, we could see industry got inclined towards, agile, where people wanted to break the entire application into sprints and backlogs and so on. And in each sprint, they identified some user stories and they tried to deliver those user stories as part of the sprint. They defined the length of the sprint, 2 to 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. And then due to productization, we came into a concept called DevOps, where things became continuous. You do continuous coding, even daily coding also, you can have deployment in production. You do weekly basis, monthly basis, bi-weekly basis, whatever you do. Continuous thing can happen, right? And in DevOps, we talked about the ecosystem tools, platforms. They make things automated through integration, end-to-end integration. If you do, almost your software engineering process would be well connected and touchless, right? Apart from your coding thing, everything would be touchless. Your version control can be kind of, deployed through a tool. It can be programmed also. It can be scheduled and so on, right? It can be tested. For testing purpose, another product can also deploy the code in a cloud environment, right? If you have subscription to some cloud like AWS or Verizon or Azure, it can create that instance for you, deploy the code on that cloud, test that code on that cloud configuration. And once the testing is done, it will send the reports or the result of the execution and again release the cloud so that you don't pay anymore, right? So that level of automation is today possible in this DevOps platform through different products, integrations, intelligent integrations and all. Now, what is happening gradually is we are entering the site reliability engineering era, where you will see everything is closely kind of tied up so that you can see where things are breaking and you can identify the risk. If this breaks, where I should focus on and what are the things that I can automatically know the impact. The impact analysis will be automatic and so on. And in this era, what is happening? They deploy or leverage more power from technologies like AI, artificial intelligence, and so on. right? You might have seen some of the automation tools these days having a lot of AI, power in them to kind of, give that easy life to a tester, right? A lot of things can be accelerated using artificial intelligence and machine learning. And after SRE, we are actually heading to the nirvana era, I would say, that is autonomous era. So autonomous would be achieved when you do not need to do the maintenance of the script, or the script breaks in the middle during the execution process. You do not need to manually do anything to correct or to fix the script, right? Autonomous means the script itself will correct itself, and there would be a auto, change board would be there. They will, that code will be taking care of what is the new functionality in the application and what the script has, and then auto correct and run it, and capture the evidence also, how it failed and how it was executed after that through the autonomous automation, right? So what it tells us is the traditional quality management system, right, that we had during waterfall, during V model, during agile process, we collected some KPI data. If you remember, manually, we collected some process metrics, then different managers, different leaders, they actually reviewed that. They manually initiated some of the continuous improvement work. But now the landscape is completely different. So many tools, they are doing their task, just like a factory, right? In factory, you will see different machines should be there in a factory, and each machine would be doing a particular task, right? One machine will be mixing something, another machine would be assembling something, another machine will be welding something, and so on. And the final machine would be integrating everything and release the final product. So the same thing happened in software engineering process also. There are so many tools, each tool is doing a task, and each tool is talking to multiple tools up or down in the process, right? And the traditional quality management is different from what we see today as quality engineering management system, right? Each tool can give you a lot of metrics data, or the reports, the dashboard data, the pass-fail data, for example, you can get from that those tools, those platforms, right? Those products, and you can play with. I will be talking about that in a minute. Why you need that data, right? So let me move to the next slide. This slide talks about how the test automation tools are also evolving. When we talked about waterfall model, we had also some record and play kind of tools. They are first generation test automation tools. Then gradually we went to kind of little more advanced framework like data-driven framework. Then comes your keyword-driven or modular framework that came, like Selenium, UFT, and all that came in 2000, 2002. Then we had further, some more standardization came in the coding and standardizing the code, like BDD, behavioral based development, and so on. We took those concepts to our framework to make it hybrid framework and so on. So to enable faster reusability and faster coding and so on, right? And now we are in 5th generation, where we see, as I told, a lot of tools having AI capabilities. They are becoming scriptless or low code. That is basically to accelerate your scripting process, right? You do not need to write that manual, JavaScript and all that you did in Selenium and all that. So a lot of commercial AI-based tools can do it for you, right? You just need to learn how to effectively play with their wizards, right? Different properties and all, program them, and that's it. You do not need to write any code. So code will be automatically created underneath. If you want to also play with the code, you can play. Otherwise, the tool will take care of it. Okay. So we are in that phase now. There's so many of them. And as you know, I also voluntarily run Test Automation Forum. We have showcased a bunch of scriptless tools. Those are actually AI powered, and they have been showcased in the forum also. You can go and have a look at them. And in future, what is coming is auto healing automation platform. As I mentioned, the future is autonomous. So auto healing tools would be actually helping you to auto correct the script. If script fails because there is a new change in the application, the script can auto correct it. So that is what is auto healing. So that is on the way. Some tools, they started claiming that they are auto healing, but with some limitations in them, right? But when it matures, it would be a pure 6th generation automation tool that will have real auto healing capabilities. You do not need to touch. Once you created the code, I mean the suite, the script will take care of everything as part of the maintenance. All right. And my last slide that talks about the future, right? We were talking about what is the future of automation testing. Future of automation testing is going to be predictive based governance, right? And testing is so broad now. Testing starts from your user story reviews to requirement reviews or software changes. Those things are reviewed. Then while coding also, testers can have a look at what standards are used, Sonar, Cube, and all that. So many tools are there. Even testers started actually playing with that tool to understand what defects Sonar is finding and all that stuff. Unit testing, then your build tools, integration testing, code scans, security testing, and all that. So many types of testing now are being done in the market. But the new thing that we are going to do now is we have to capture the report, I mean, the outcome of those types of testing, and feed that, green data is pass data, red data is fail, yellow is like, you are not sure whether it is pass or fail, or some concerns maybe on the execution outcomes. That has to go to a predictive governance database or an AI-enabled dashboarding system, so that the CXOs, right, the chief technology officers, or even project manager also, they can customize their dashboard to see the health of the application, right? Let's say Swiggy application can see how it has been tested in the past and what can be expected in future, right? When number of users increase, right? What would be the health of this application? So it can also do the predictive analysis also, depending on the data that is being fed to this analytics-based centralized database, right? And it can help in identifying the application or product risks, so that the application owners can initiate some performance improvement plans and so on, so that the application continues to be available for its users when they need it, right? So the future of test automation is going to probably spend some more time when it goes to autonomous phase. You will see a lot of things, new tools, new way of kind of configuring your testing during this phase when things would get autonomous. So with that, I think I will stop here, and I will let Grishma to present the Selenium-based framework that can help you to enable continuous testing in DevOps ecosystem. Thank you very much for your attention, and over to Grishma now.
Thank you so much, Troy. Thank you for giving a clear idea about where we are heading towards today. Right. So with this, hi everyone who's joined a little bit late. So I'm Grishma, and I'm a QA engineer at MOHS10 Technologies. So today I'm here to talk about a concept called how to leverage a hybrid framework to achieve a continuous testing. So before we get into the discussion, I just want to set the agenda for today's discussion. So first I'll be going through our MOHS10 service offerings. Then I'll take you through a framework which we have developed on top of Selenium. And then we'll see a few test cases, how we automate web applications using our internal framework. So with this, let me share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, Krishma, it is visible.
Thank you, Sumitra. So yeah, as you can see, we have quality engineering services and software engineering services that you are seeing on the screen. So we are also into testing and development phase. So we test AI systems. So when I say testing AI systems, it is not same as we test the some normal applications. So testing AI systems means we test the AI systems. It is more towards data centric. It needs more data to test and train the data. So we kind of test and deploy these AI systems, and to avoid any incidents through AI products or AI systems. We deploy these AI systems, responsible AI systems into the real world scenarios, and we have test automation also using Selenium, and we do continuous testing using a tool called Jenkins, and we have application performance to check the application, how the application performs when it is under peak loads. And we are also into application security testing. So it actually lies in, it identifies the vulnerabilities in the application, and we can analyze the root cause of it, and also we do application security testing. So these are all come under quality engineering services that we have on the left side, and we have software engineering services on the right. As you can see, we also into development testing, development, so developing of AI systems, and any enterprise applications are also business products. So overall, our quality engineering services, lets businesses we help them to digitize and in an organized manner and scalable manner to drive speed, quality, and cost. So these are high level services that we have currently at MOHS10. And let us go to the next slide. This is the architecture of our framework. So PAINITE is the name of the framework that we have. So this is actually, so we have a PAINITE framework. It is actually a hybrid framework. That means it is a combination of both data driven and also a keyword driven framework. So when I say data driven, it means that we are externalizing the data from the test scripts, right? So we will not be giving our test data in the scripts itself. So we are data feeding can be done through other external files such as Excel files or CSV files. So with this, we can run the test scripts n number of times with n number of, so with multiple data sets, right? And coming to the keyword driven framework, so it actually speeds your automation testing, where we will separate the keywords and also the common functions that we have. So people who have a good knowledge on the product, they can make use of this keyword driven framework, and people who are more into programming languages, they can make use of this data driven framework. And as we know, Selenium is it supports Windows operating systems, and it also supports popular browsers like Chrome, Edge, and Micro Focus Edge. And these are the different layers of features that we have integrated to our framework. So as you can see, Auto IT is something, we have integrated this to our PAINITE framework. The Selenium is designed actually to automate the web applications, right? So it cannot handle the Windows GUIs and any pop-ups occurs in the application. So to handle these Windows graphical user interfaces, Auto IT will be helpful to automate any kind of task. So in Auto IT, it makes use of the combination of all the mouse events, keyboards, keystrokes, and it controls the Windows manipulation actually. So this is something that we have integrated to our framework, and we have database testing. So using this database testing, we can fetch the results from database. So by using JDBC, Java database connectivity, we can fetch the results from the data, and it acts as a SQL level API between the Selenium and database, and we can validate the test results, tables, and records using database. And we have web services and API testing integrated to our PAINITE framework. So we can make use of, we have integrated the REST assured API testing to check the HTTP status code of any application. And for automating any hybrid applications, like for Android or for iOS, we need a tool, right? So for that, we have integrated API to our framework, where it supports any kind of framework for reliable mobile testing. And SQL is something, as we know, Selenium does not support the Flash objects. Flash objects in the sense, Selenium cannot automate the video players or audio players, whereas SQL completely test these audio players and video players. So for that, we have integrated the SQL to our PAINITE framework. So it is completely based on image recognition testing tool. So it actually stores the images and it makes use of the images, how much it is able to search that image, and based on that, we'll be doing these video and audio automation testing using this SQL. And we have different test execution dashboards. Soon after we execute our scripts in the Selenium, we'll be having a different kind of reports like PDF reports or HTML reports, where we can see how many number of test cases that have passed or failed. All these we can see in the test execution dashboard. And we know that Selenium, it accepts, it supports various programming languages like JavaScript and Python. So here we'll be using Java to write the test scripts, and we'll make use of the verifications and assertions like before test and after test. All these things we can do using Java. And coming to the XML configuration, it is a text, it stores the files. It has different test dependencies and parameters. And using test execution order, suppose if we have a 50 number of test cases in our project, so if we want to run those test scripts, we can make use of the priority. So which test case should execute first, that we can give in the test cases actually. So the test execution order will starts from, the priority starts from 0. So when we kind of give 0 to a particular test case, it will execute first. The lower the number, it executes the first. So, and we have a test ng also, where it manages the entire testing life cycle. This is the framework. And Maven is something, it is a build tool that uses page object model actually. So it helps to build the process. Here page object model is something, it is a core of projects configurations and all those things. And for continuous integration, we kind of use Maven, and it can compile the tests, and it can pull the jar files, and so it can pull the jar files from the remote repositories actually, and it can run all the packages and the unit tests from using Maven. So once we have executed our Selenium scripts in the Selenium, so we can directly push our project and our test script to GitHub. And from GitHub URL, we can configure all the things in Jenkins. So in Jenkins, we can see all the configurations. We can see the history, test history, how many times we have executed that particular project, and we can see if soon after we build the trigger, so we can see the notification if the build has passed or test. All those things we can see using Jenkins, and we can monitor the test using Jenkins. So these are the different layers of the features that currently we have in our PAINITE framework. And soon, so as part of our future roadmap, we are also trying to invoke AI to our PAINITE framework to autocorrect the scripts using AI power. So this is something about PAINITE architecture. So I'll be showing you a demo video where you'll get a better understanding of how we automate our test cases. So let us go to the video where we can see how we automate the test cases. So this is a framework. If we can expand this, we can see all the structure of the framework. So here we have packages in SRC main Java and SRC test Java. So in this, we'll be storing all the browser related actions and mouse actions and keyboard actions. You'll be storing in SRC main Java. And we have a SRC test Java also, where we kind of we have different packages right here. So database testing, API, object repositories. So in this, we'll be storing all the object related activities and reusable methods. And also we'll be writing the scripts in these packages. So this is something about SRC test Java, and we have a different folders here. So we can also see the test case screenshots after executing our scripts. And we can see the test data, test output, reports, all these things. And in form.xml file, we'll be writing all the dependencies that are required to run the project. So from testng.xml, we can run the scripts. So this first script actually runs the few few test cases, and the second will run the report where we can have a PDF report. So let us run this. So soon after we click on test-ng test, it will start launching the browser. It may take 2 seconds to start it. So yeah, it is launching the browser, and now it is navigating to a particular demo web shop application, and it will perform all the actions that we have given in our test script. See, it has clicked on the blog page. Here we can see all the information related to the blog page, and it is clicking on different categories, all those things like jewelry, gift box, all those categories. It is navigating and it's clicking, it's performing its operations. And again, now it is logging in with the invalid inputs. Here we can see the red highlighted text that it is invalid. And again, it is logging in with the valid credentials. So soon after executing the scripts, it will come back to the Eclipse IDE, and it will again run the PDF report test, where we can see the report. So how many test cases were passed, how much time it took to execute each test cases, what is the start time, what is the end time, all those detailed reports we can see here in this report. So after executing these scripts, it will again go back to the Eclipse. So after going to the Eclipse, we can refresh this PAINITE framework to get the reports. I see here we can see the test runs were passed, how many test cases were passed. We can see that, and now we can refresh it. So under reports folder, we can see the PDF report where it contains the screenshots of each test case. Yes, we have seen this project name, start time, how many test cases were passed, all those detailed reports here we can see. And we can also see the time in seconds for each test case, how much it took. And below we can see the test case screenshots. We have executed 4 test cases, all those screenshots here we can see, right? Yeah, this is something we can send to the stakeholders. And we also have another kind of report that is a HTML report, where it kind of shows the test steps also. Let us open this with the system editor. So here we can see all the test cases that we have performed. And if we click on any of the test case, we can see what are the steps that it has performed. And here the blue and red box above can show how much time it took, at what time it started and what time it ended. And we also have a graphical representation. And if you mouse over on this timeline, we can also see the seconds it took to execute these scripts. So this is one kind of report that we have. So after executing these scripts in Selenium, we can integrate the same project in Jenkins. This is a Jenkins interface. So after making all the configurations, we just need to trigger the build. So it will start executing all the scripts itself. So it may take a few minutes to complete this build. So I'm skipping this, as we already saw how these test cases were automated. So it started collecting all the Maven plugins that are required to run this project. So this actually runs in the background. We can also see these scripts again. So yeah, after finishing the build, we'll see this. If there are any errors in the build, it will show the build as failure, and if it is passed, it will show as success. So here we can see the build was success, and here we can see all the workspace and the graphs. So soon after executing this script, we can send the mails also to the stakeholders, the PDF reports and also the HTML reports to the stakeholders. So these are the different graphs that you can see, and on the left side you can see we have triggered the build 2 times. This shows the test history, and here it can show the blue and red. All these yellow colors will show how many test cases were passed, all those things. And let's go to the mail, and yes, we got a mail. So this is something that I have showed earlier in the Selenium. So this can be done through Jenkins to send the reports from Jenkins. And this is the HTML report where it contains the table kind of information. So yeah, this is something we can automate to achieve continuous testing. This is how we do actually. This comes to the end of my presentation actually. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to and share your questions.
Thank you, Grishma, for your detailed information. So, if anyone have any questions, they can put their questions in the chat box or they can raise their hands so that we can pick some questions.
So there is one question, Sumitra, already there. What are the advantages and scope of APM? So, yeah, this is a kind of loaded question. But since we have very limited time, I would like to say that APM has been integrated to the framework that Grishma just showcased, right? And as you know, Selenium is purely developed for web, right? Anything that gets loaded to a browser that can be tested using Selenium with some additional third parties integrated. If you want to enhance the coverage, you can do that. And APM again comes as a add-on on top of Selenium to help automating your mobile applications. So if you integrate APM, then you can cover both web and mobile applications. So that is why, in most of the framework, you will see APM has been integrated, because these days we see responsive designed applications, right? The application would be designed for both mobile devices as well as browsers. So if you have APM integrated, you can cover both web and mobile. So hope I answered that question. You're welcome. Any more questions? Okay. So if no questions, then probably Sumitra, we can wrap this session up.
Yes, try. So thank you everyone for joining this session, and we will keep the recording. We will keep posting the recording in our YouTube platform, and keep following us in our LinkedIn page. If you want to share any idea or showcase something, feel free to reach out us. And in case you need the handouts, please drop a mail. We will follow you back. So thank you so much for attending. Thanks again.
Thank you, everyone. You have a great evening or a great day. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Bye now.